June 13th is my big anniversary, and 3 years ago I was working at a tutoring center when my boss did something really toxic to ruin the anniversary. Now, to understand my relationship with all of the my colleagues and students there, 3 months earlier, war had broken out in Ukraine. Obviously, Russia had invaded Ukraine, and I had a little symbolic uh, rock that I had visited Poland a few years earlier, and I had picked up a rock from Gdansk Bay, and I thought that was the most peaceful thing in the world, in contrast to what was now going on in Poland. So I had brought it to the tutoring center. We had an aquarium with fish. I cleaned off the rock a little bit. I placed it in the aquarium. I explained a little bit of history of how that rock came to be. I had picked it up in the beach in Gdansk Bay, Poland. I had a little bit of a nickname for the rock. I called it polonium because it came from Poland. Oh, it's just my luck that the following week two fish in the aquarium died, and my coworker joked that maybe the rock contained actual polonium. I had a student who was constantly acting up. He had ADHD, and when it wasn't managed well, he was acting up, distracting all of the students. And so at first, though, I threatened to take away his points. They get reward points for their progress. He knew I was never going to take away the points. I was kind of doing that to try to get him on track and entertain him a little bit, somewhat. At the same time, dragging him back to his work. And so I would count down from 10. And eventually, the countdowns became such a distraction that I didn't even want to count down anymore. I would just draw a space shuttle on the way out of the launch pad as a symbolic gesture for counting down. And I said, "You're going to rocket your reward points," because I would draw a rocket. Now, the anniversary came, and to be fair, this is Seattle, Washington, where the school was still busy that time of year. I don't know what my colleagues were doing, but you know what my boss could have done? He could have sat down with me and told me, "Hey, happy anniversary. We have a really tough time with students. Why don't you celebrate with these students?" And I probably would have done it. Instead, he passive aggressively sends me the schedule the Sunday before that anniversary week and doesn't even say a word to me about it. And it also, the day of the anniversary, I got a split shift, and I live very far from the campus. There's no way I'm going to make two drives. Also, 2 weeks before the anniversary, one day I had just arrived at the center when he said he canceled the shift, and it was really really upsetting because that morning I had it was not long after Putin and all that. I just put like $80 worth of gas in my car. I drove there, and he just literally turned me away and very tone deaf about it as well. It wasn't even, "I'm sorry, this happened or that happened." It was literally a, "Did you see I canceled your shift?" And so this is really upsetting, especially in relation to the relationships that I had with the student and the colleagues at the campus.